Taking hold of the past. Stop letting your past define you. Too many people let their past define them. They screwed up badly and they think that their only value to humanity is their screw up. They think that that's what defines them. They think that they really can't progress past that point. Maybe you went to jail. Maybe you were accused of something. Maybe you did something to somebody else that you regret. Maybe you were abused and made to feel small, powerless, and weak. Whatever happened to you, please understand that it's the past. The past is the past. The past is the past. You don't have a time machine that you can jump into and change the facts that happened. Those facts happened. Your job now is to live your life in such a way that you are happy, well-adjusted, effective, and loving and kind. In other words, your job is to live today. Unfortunately, you're not doing that when you are worrying about the past and burning tremendous emotional energy thinking about what could have happened, what should have happened, or what would have happened. The more you think about people who hurt you, the uglier they get, the more intense the pain becomes. And this poisons your relationships and mindset today. You're not being responsible when you do that. You're not being in control when you do that. Tackle the past head on. You have to resolve to tackle the past head on. Every few days, you need to open up your diary or journal of past events, and then go through the process below. You owe this to yourself. You have to be consistent about this for you to get out from under the weight of the past. Ask yourself if the past trauma that you remember really happened. There is such a thing as false memory. In fact, false memories are implanted all the time. If you don't believe that false memories are possible, think back to the 1990s. In the 1990s in the United States, there were all sorts of scandals involving therapists feeding false memories into the minds of their patients or clients. This is due to the fact that human beings are very suggestible. When you come across somebody who you trust and have confidence in primarily because of their title or their supposed authority, you put yourself in a very vulnerable position. You put yourself in a position where they can easily influence you, where their suggestions can even seem like they came from you. In the 1990s, a lot of counseling and psychiatric therapy sessions were kind of free-form. There weren't really clear protocols regarding suggestibility. It is no surprise that in this climate, there were all sorts of false memories due to suggestions and false associations made in the minds of patients by therapists who highlighted or suggested certain associations. Lives were broken. Imagine growing up in a family where everybody loved each other and everybody got along. You had a tremendous respect for your father and your mother. And then later on in life, when you developed alcoholism or you had problems in your marriage, you see a therapist. The therapist then leads you through a sloppy, unstructured process where you end up with false memories of abuse against your parents. How can you regain the relationship you have with your father when you had this false memory that he raped you as a kid? Do you see how this is a problem in the 1990s and continues to be a problem today? False memories are more prevalent than we assume. Be careful with them. Question all your memories. The human memory is actually very faulty. We often remember things by association. When we come across somebody or an event that somehow gets associated with things that we remember in the past, our memory gets jumbled up and we come up with a completely new story. It turns out that what we thought was true is very far from it. So ask yourself, when you're looking through all these past traumatic events that you have prioritized in your diary, did they really happen? To the best of your memory, ask yourself, did they really happen? This means that you were there. You heard something, you smelled something, you saw something, you touched something, or you tasted something. In other words, with your 5 senses, you could perceive that this was reality. If that's not the case, can other people corroborate that this did happen to you? Do you know somebody who's close to you who could tell you, yes, that did happen. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. Or I was there. I witnessed the whole thing. Or I heard her say that. Or I heard mom say that to you. And so on and so forth. So if you do not directly perceive it, ask if you can get evidentiary support from somebody else. If not, then mark those experiences. Eliminate false experiences. If you can't find any documentary proof or if you don't have any personal remembrance of an event and you can't find any corroboration from anybody else, decide once and for all that these events did not happen. The next time you start to remember them, say to yourself in a bold voice, internally and silently, this is false. This is fake. This is not a real memory. I don't want to have anything to do with this. When you do that, you shut down the normal wave or chain reaction of negative emotions that you feel. Why waste tremendous amounts of emotional and psychological resources on things that did not happen? It may seem artificial, It might even seem like you are basically just spitting in the ocean, and it's really pointless and futile. But you have to keep repeating the pattern above until it makes sense. This is a key part of you taking full ownership over your false memories. If you still aren't pumped up about this, just think about the misery you feel when you entertain false memories. They make you feel small, they make you lose trust in people, and they make you feel weak. It's not a good place to be. Tie that bundle of negative emotional states together with the alternative to not repeating memory self-ownership statements. Sure, repeating these statements over and over again may seem boring, pointless, and ineffective, but what else do you have? You really can't say that what you have right now is going to be so much better. In fact, the reason you're taking this training is because you want to get out from under all that anxiety, fear, and negative emotions brought about by false memories. There is misery in false memories, so focus on that. Say to yourself, okay, this might seem repetitive, it might seem mechanical. Deep down inside, I feel like I'm just wasting my time. But what do I really have as an alternative? Do I really want to go back to the misery that my false memories bring? When you paint things in such a stark way, that contrast highlights the value of what you're doing. I know you probably have 1,000,001 other things you'd rather attend to. We're all busy. But believe me, when you call out your false memories and you repeat these statements, you start reclaiming your life. This action is an investment in a better life. This is not denial. Please understand that you are not practicing denial. You're not sweeping an elephant under the rug. Instead, you're being rational. If you did not experience it and nobody else around experienced it, then for all practical purposes, it didn't happen. Why are you going to continue to beat yourself up about something that didn't happen? This is fiction, and for whatever reason throughout the years, you hung on to that fiction. Maybe it helped explain your situation. Maybe it gave you a lot of excuses. Maybe it served some sort of purpose in the past, but now it's a burden. Now it's holding you back and dragging you down from the kind of life you should be living. It's time to end the madness and just constantly stop yourself when you remember that thing. Once you start thinking about it, just say, this is fake. I'm lying to myself when I do this. Phrase your rejection in the worst way possible. Maybe you should say, I'm being a fool if I think about this because this is false memory. This is not real. I'm going to stop being stupid. Something like that. Eventually, you will get used to it and you will stop. Because it doesn't make any sense to waste any more emotional resources on things that didn't happen.